Welcome back. In this video, we're continuing our journey for beginners to generative art who want to learn processing. Specifically, these are targeted at people who know Python but want to learn how to use processing. So we are using processing, using a Python binding, just using Python to create our own art, and that's a way to learn. In this video, we'll be looking at shapes and colors. Okay. First, let's just get started by looking at shapes. Before we can even talk about shapes, we need to sort of select a pen, if you will, my writing and drawing instrument. So I'm going to first say stroke 0, which is to say that I want a pen of color black. We'll look at it in a second. The 0 stands for black. And then we have to say something like stroke weight, which is how thick of a pen width. My stroke weight should be 2, which is basically 2 pixels. So if you can see this line, vertical line on your screen, if this was 1 pixel, then this is 2, right? That's what we're saying. So sometimes you want your shape to pop, so you will do that. Now we're ready to start looking at shapes. Let's start with an easy one. It's a rectangle. In processing, to specify a rectangle, you simply have to specify its corner, the top left corner, XY coordinate, give its width and give its height. Okay. So let's say that I want to fill my rectangle with red color, RGB 24500. We'll look at the colors in a second, but for now, go with me. I want to have a fillet. I want to fill it to be red. And then I'm saying draw a rectangle from X is 0, so it's on the canvas itself, on the left edge of the canvas, but 25 pixels down. I want a width of 25 also, but I want a height to be 50, right? It's double so it's a tall one, not as wide. If you do all this, it will create a red rectangle of this side. So it came down from 0, 0, it comes down to 0, 25, width is 25, and let's say height is 50. Then you can say I want to change my fill color to green, 0, 245, or G. G is baked 245, so this is going to be green. There is no red or blue. And then you're saying I want to draw another rectangle also starting at the same point. 0, 25, but this time my width will be 20 and my height is only 10. So it's going to be a squished or a small green rectangle, and that will probably be somewhere there. Okay, so that's how rectangles work. If you understood rectangles, then lines are even easier. A line is simply a straight line between 2 points. As long as you can specify it for the point 1 and point 2, x1, y1, and x2, y2, you have your line. So let's say that again I go back. I'm going to make my pen color to be red this time, and I'm saying draw me a line from 0, 25, right, to till the point 25, 25. Notice that even though the x value changes, my y value started at 25 and ended at 25. It did not change at all. Therefore, this is probably going to be a horizontal line starting from 0 and going to 25. Okay? So we should expect a horizontal line from 0 to 25. Okay. Now I'm going to change my pen color to green, and I'm going to say please draw another line from 25, 25, which is where we left off here. And this time I want to go down to 25, 40. So x stays at 25, and I'll probably go down up to some point here. Let's say that is 40. So I'm expecting a vertical line in green color from 25, 25 to 25, 40. So it will draw something like that. If we so wanted, we can actually draw one more line. We can actually connect these two. Connect my point from 0, 25 to 25, 40, in which case it will draw. Notice that the pen color didn't change. It is still green, but it's the stroke color is green, but it's drawing a line connecting these 2 points. That's it. That's how you can draw any number of points, and actually you can create amazing art just by changing your by randomizing your lines and creating a whole bunch of lines by putting them in a loop. Okay, if you notice here, this was a triangle. We could have done it easier still by taking a triangle x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3, right? So I'm saying I'm going to take a green pen. This time I don't want my triangle to be filled, and I'm just saying draw a triangle from 0, 25, 25, 25 to 25, 50. And it will go from 0, 25, 25, 25, 25, 40, and this is the triangle it draws. Okay. That was it about triangles. So you can play around with that. Finally, to close out the basic shapes, let's look at one more, circles and ellipses. So an ellipse has a center from Actually, we'll only be drawing circles, but it's when the height and the width are the same, it draws a circle. So my center point is going to be, for an ellipse, you have to specify the center point to be the XY point, 100, 100, a width of 20 and a height of 20. I could also have done this. I could have done an ellipse of width 30 and height 20, in which case, as you can see, it's wider than it is tall, so it's going to be a squished ellipse or a flat ellipse. Or I could have done width is 20 and height is 30. Okay, so it's a vertical ellipse. So all of these are possible. Okay. Now that's all it is. Next, let's take a look at colors. Processing makes it really easy to use colors. In fact, if you want to use grayscale, you literally have to specify one number one integer actually, that goes from 0 to 255. With 0 being black, so when we say stroke black, we think, hey, I want to use all my strokes. When you draw a line or when you make a mark, it should be of black color. You can also say white, right? So from 0 to 255, you get 256 different shades of gray, if you will. So you can actually choose a number in the middle, and that will be a certain shade of gray. Okay, there are many charts available on the web. You can look at this here and understand how 0 is very black and 255 is total white, and everything in between is a shade of gray. You could even do things like this. You can say, make my stroke. We've not looked at random numbers yet. We'll look at it in the next video. But we can say, I want a random number between 87 to 167. So let's say you like to choose a random shade of gray between these two shades. So give me a random, so it could probably be 100, right? 100 is a number in between these two. Make it an integer of it. I don't want 100.3, I want 100, and then you make that to be your stroke color. So each time this command is called, your color stroke will change a little bit, but it will still always be a shade of gray in between these two grays. So you can sort of give texture to your art if you want to do that. I hope you're getting that. Of course, it doesn't have to be grayscale at all. Everything in computer vision, computer art, computer generated art, the computer itself, your monitor, everything that we see is RGB. Everyone knows this. One way to specify this is to say that make my stroke into 3 numbers. If you specify 3 integers, processing understands that, oh, you're talking about an RGB. So in this case, if you say 255.00, that's red 00, right? So that's going to be red. Similarly, 0 to 255.0 would be green, and instead of stroke, I'm just saying, hey, use fill here, but it's blue. So maybe I've drawn a triangle or a rectangle, and I want to fill it up with a blue color. Then I would say fill 00, 255. Okay. When I was searching the web, I found that these people, Presentitude, have created a very nice way of displaying RGB values across the color wheel, so you can see what happens if you combine the 255 values, right? If you combine full red plus full green, R plus G, you get a yellow, whereas if you combine G plus B, you get cyan, or maybe you get magenta, different combinations. So it's a very nice one. You can use this for reference or search. There's plenty of ways. It's important to play around with colors, right? You can get amazing effects just by changing the color. And one last thing about colors is that if you've done any work in HTML or JavaScript, you already know hexadecimal. Hexadecimal colors are simply specified with a hash that says here that, hey, I'm going to give you a hexadecimal color, which will have 6 letters or numbers after that. This hash, sorry about the confusion, is just a comment in Python to say that this is a red color. So FF0000 is red. You could have a hash C0, C0, C0. So it could be a letter or a number going from 0 to 9, and a letter going from A, B, C, D, E, F. So you can use that to specify quite a thousands of colors. You can fill it up with science and here. Search the web and you will find in Wikipedia itself many, there are literally thousands of colors at your disposal, and you can use them to give more flavor to whatever art you are generating. Okay, so that's probably all I should cover about colors. But you also need to know how to turn it off, right? How to turn off the colors. Sometimes I want to draw a circle, but I don't want an outline. Then you just say no stroke. I want to draw a triangle, but I don't want to fill it up with anything. Then you just say no fill. Do notice that F is capital and S is capital, right? This is again called camel case. So you start with small letters, but just to show that these are 2 different words, we use a capital F there or a capital S. Okay. you've stuck around, hopefully this is useful. You're learning something since you've stuck around. Let's do one more thing. Let's look at how to draw custom shapes. Right. So far we looked at standard shapes, and for 90-95% of what you do, those are enough. But if you would like, you can even define your own shape. This can come in quite handy if you want to sort of give us a signature shape in your art, and you can sort of draw it over and over again. Really, look, the command looks daunting, but it's really simple to do. Okay, I'm going to take my black pen. I'm saying begin shape. Again, notice the capital S. And then I'm just here to specify vertices one after another. You can specify one, I guess at least two or three to any number that you want, right? I just say that. Here in this case, I specified 4 random vertices, and then you simply end shape. You begin shape, you end shape. Notice the parentheses and everything. And when I run this in processing, this is what it did. So it starts from 100, 150, then goes to 150. So it's a vertical line. Then it goes to 50, 100, 80, 200, and it ends it right there. If you pay attention, you will see that there is an outline for these 3, but this particular one is still left open. If you didn't like that, you see this end shape here. You just have to make one small change. You have to add close in capitals there. So Python understands that, oh, you want me to close the polygon that you created, in which case we'll go ahead and it will fill it up for you. You'll complete it. Okay, so that's a nice completed polygon that you can draw. So that's literally all I wanted to cover. But I'm going to give you one bonus for some of you who may find this useful. You don't have to tediously specify vertices one after another and calculate it. You can even put it in a loop, and that's what I want to show you. Let's say that we wanted to create a hexagon, right? We all know hexagon, so 6 vertices, 6 sides. It needs to have 6 vertices. So I could maybe do a for loop for each vertex, in range 6. I want my angle to be radians of v star 60, right? So what is going on here? So v is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this particular angle is going to be 0, 60, 120, 180, 240, and so on. And 300, right? It's going to be all of that. And then I'm going to convert it into a radians, and I'm going to store it in a variable called angle, so that I can specify my vertex. I can say my x value is going to be 100, which is going to be the size of my side of my hexagon, times the cos of this angle, right? Cosine of cosine 0, cosine 60, 120, and so on. And y value is going to be r sine theta. So for those of you who have already done polar coordinates, this may bring back memories. R sine theta and r cos theta and r sine theta are ways to specify a circle, right? It's of the polar equation for a circle using r and theta. So that's all we have done. So 6 times I've specified 6 different vertices. I can end my shape, say to close it, and then it will draw this. Okay? So that's really all we wanted to cover in this second video. In the playlist, we wanted to look at shapes. We looked at rectangles, lines, triangles, ellipses, and circles. We looked at colors, in which case we also looked at inside colors. We looked at grayscale, we looked at RGB, we looked at hexadecimal colors. And then as a bonus or advanced topic, we also looked at how to make your own custom shapes, right? We looked at all of that. So I really thank you for your time. I hope that was useful, and if it was useful, then please don't stop, because there's a whole series of this playlist has many more. So I'm planning to make the next one will be on random numbers and a grid, how to create all of that. Maybe we'll go look at some for loops and all of that in the next video, so do not stop. Thank you for your time.